Need Pokemon Go PvP coaching? Well, I'm on Medify, so click the link in the video description and it'll take you right to my page. What's up, guys? I got another exciting team. You guys remember the triple counter team of old that made waves in the meta? Well, here we are, the triple Shadow Claw team. Unfortunately, it does get completely walled by Pidgeot here, as you can see in this first game. And I wasn't sure I could actually beat a Pidgeot team, but you guys will see how I beat this team. And it's not the best way, not the way you'd really expect. Either way, I'm going to talk a little bit about this team. It kind of follows that same philosophy of the triple counter team, where you're just really making some Pokemon quite useless. So for example, a Pokemon like Jellicent has nowhere to go against this team. A Pokemon like Deoxys or Medicham is really tough versus this team because Beware can also hit it pretty hard with those Shadow Claws. There's just a lot of Pokemon that are kind of just not completely invalidated, but are pretty easy wins. On the flip side, there are things like Pidgeot here that are really tough wins, as in you really need to be able to leverage energy there. In this case, I leveraged the lag. My opponent quits, but I do think that I potentially could have won this game versus the Pidgeot. It just would have been extremely difficult. And then the other thing, the other two main core breakers are going to be if you see a Charmer in the lead, which you usually see them in the back, so it's less bad. But if you see Charmer in the lead, you're in big trouble. Also, if you see an Obstagoon or Scrafty, it's quite difficult as well, but you just have to leverage the superpower with Beware. And there's a game here where I actually probably could have beaten an Obstagoon lead, but I made a small mistake. Either way, we have an Ariados lead here, so this is actually pretty good against the back line, and they have Cross Poison, so that means Beware is going to take some pretty heavy damage here. Unfortunately, they throw right away. I'm going to shield the Cross Poison, just try and get to another stomp. Just to force a shield back here. And then the goal is, I think they're pressured to throw the Cross Poison, so I want to try and catch it on Sableye. So you can see, throw one more, or two more, swap on Sableye, and you see that pause there. Oh, they probably got a refund. If I catch that Cross Poison on Sableye, this game is completely different instead. But they get the lunge off. Lunge deals a ton of damage to Sableye, debuffs it as well. So I'm barely going to get any damage off on their Sableye. And they're going to be able to leverage that and farm quite a bit up as well. So well played by them. But yeah, the refund really does not help. I'm going to come in with Beware and just hope that a Foul Play doesn't KO from this HP. Because it's resisted, but it does. So we'll come in with Trevenant instead. And the goal here is just to farm all the way down. And just hope that it's something like a Swampert in the back, something that Trevenant can just beat with a with energy advantage here. So they actually let me farm all the way down. And I know I can take down this Ariados before it gets to another move. But really it's all about, can I beat whatever else is in the back? In comes the Coffagrigus. I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here. I was a bit worried about a catch play, so you can see I press my button quite slowly. And yeah, we're going to take out, send that Coffin right back to the grave. And Trevenant, yeah, like the game is just not working well. The game's not working well. Like 2 games in a row where this is lag, one for me, one for them. It doesn't, at what point is it not our own connections? I guess, what I'm trying to say. But luckily, game was pretty much over at that point. So despite the refund, able to still win that one. Okay, Deoxys Defense are going to swap out right away. And in comes Frostlass. Interesting. This is not the correct answer to Sableye. It looks like this player has a team that is going to get completely beaten by Sableye. We do see some pretty massive lag again. At least they shield there. And yeah, the game is just really laggy. What can I say? Gonna shield up. It looks like they're gonna be trading shields here, which is not too bad of a situation for me. Sableye wins this matchup regardless, unless they have an energy advantage. And then at this point, if they want to force me to shield again, I can farm down and end this matchup with a ton of energy for Sableye. So we'll see what else they have. They bring back in the Deoxys, and they throw a move. I was like, did they get a Thunderbolt already? I don't think they did. It's just a Psycho Boost. And yeah, I debated swapping out before throwing a move here, just because Trev can handle Deoxys, and I was a bit scared of what was in the back, if it could beat me with shields down. So it was Talonflame, and actually it might have been able to, but luckily we swap at the same time. Trevenant gets to its move first. Won't be able to take out the Talonflame, but it's going to deal enough damage to this bird that it really does not matter if it gets this Flame Charge off. Either Sableye or Beware will be able to come back and clean up. In fact, I'm going to come back in with the Sableye, I think, just to make sure I have enough energy for a move to throw out this Deoxys. And yeah, they're going to put out. Psycho Boost does quite a bit of damage to Beware, because it is a fighting type. So that is one that I always forget for some reason, that Psychic does extra damage to Beware. But Shadow Claw really helps that matchup. Alright, Jellicent. So this is what I was talking about. In terms of a Jellicent lead, it doesn't really have anywhere to go, unfortunately. We've got the Noctowl. So this is a pretty tough one. I don't really have a good answer to Noctowl. And in this case, I'm just going to keep playing this as a Beware matchup here. Shields up. And yeah, this is the big threat to the team. I also understand that I don't really have problems with this Jellicent. So I can just throw moves to try and take this thing out. Throw a superpower, and then I swap. I probably should have thrown another superpower to force a shield instead. But I get to the foul play as they get to their move as well. Looks like they charge up to the Shadow Ball. I'm not sure if they want to throw Shadow Ball or Sky Attack here because it's not super effective against Sableye. It just takes a little bit extra energy. And here we go. 4th game in a row with lag. We have not had a lagless game yet, actually. I didn't realize that when playing this. But either way, this is exactly kind of how it goes nowadays. Gonna get to the foul play first. I have no idea what the count is anymore. I'm just gonna throw this foul play. And it's Scrafty, so it's the 2 core breakers on this team, unfortunately, are in the back with Jellicent. So even though Jellicent does look like a good lead, I've seen Jellicent double charm, and I've seen Jellicent, Scrafty, and Noctowl. Both these teams are quite tough to deal with. In this case, I want them to throw the power-up punch to waste some of their energy. Then I'm going to throw my superpower. And I was going to swap out so that maybe I could farm down the Jellicent later. But unfortunately, the only fix that Niantic made this season was actually to make it so you can't catch moves on... or you can't defer damage to other Pokemon anymore. One of the mechanics that I made a video about way back when, and has kind of been a standard in terms of a mechanic that you can use is now no longer available to be used. So very unfortunate. I know I need 2 Seed Bombs here, so I'm just going to farm up, but it's not going to be enough. Foul play will take out Trevenant, and that's just kind of frustrating. Because I feel like if I just save my Beware there, swap to the Trev, I can maybe get enough energy for another superpower, and that was my win condition. Alright. Araquanid lead. This is a pretty interesting matchup for Beware. I think Araquanid does beat Sableye and Trevenant just because this thing is so bulky. But with Beware, Beware resists Bug. So I can tank whatever moves here. They're probably going to Bubble Beam. And the goal is to absorb a Bubble Beam and then swap, because now their energy has just been completely wasted. So I will throw this foul play right away at this Araquanid. It is a decent sized threat to the team. It's just a very annoying Pokemon to play against in general. But unfortunately doesn't quite do enough here. And we'll see what they got to. I don't know if they're at a Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz takes a while to charge to, especially Bug Bite doesn't really have that much energy gain. And they're going to come with a Sableye, so my Sableye is the energy advantage, but their Sableye is not debuffed. So, going to throw the foul play, just trying to deal some damage here. Beware is fantastic at farming Sableye down. But we'll see if it even comes to that. So I will bring back in the Beware. And I know I'll have to shield once here, regardless. Because I will have to shield one of the foul plays. But they don't actually make it to the second foul play, so a bit of a waste of a shield, but either way, the huge farm down from Beware is definitely worth it. In comes Nidoqueen. I'm going to throw Stomp right away. Just get some damage on this thing. And yeah, they're going to start shielding because it could have been payback, but it's not. So I'm going to keep throwing Stomps here. Superpower does do a little bit more damage if I feel like it's the last move I need to use. And the only reason I don't is because I kind of want them to think I'm going to stay in here, and I want them to throw a Poison Fang. So now that they throw the Poison Fang, my Trev should hopefully have a pretty home-free run here. We'll beat Nidoqueen and CMP. And yeah, the rest should be history at this point. Almost full HP Trev with a shield. Yeah, it's a Araquanid too, so. Gonna be able to pull out a big 4-1 in the first set with this team, despite some pretty bad lag, I guess. Not despite, because it did help me out in game 1 quite a bit, but there's lag on both sides for sure. And actually, we did have our first lag-free game. It just was game number 5 there. Took 5 games. Anyways, Talonflame lead. This one's a little bit tricky too, just because you don't want Trev into it. So I'm going to stay in for a little bit with Beware. And it looks like I desync, but I went CMP. So I will throw the Stomp here. Deals a decent amount of damage. And I'm going to no-shield this because I think it's really unlikely that they're going to throw a Brave Bird right off the bat, especially in the Beware matchup. I'm going to swap to Sableye. And unfortunately, they do get to their next move faster than I do. Just because the second Flame Charge is only 10 turns. So we'll shield that one up, and then I should be able to farm this Talonflame down. They let me farm all the way down. Deal quite a bit of damage to the Sableye, but honestly, this is why they didn't switch. It's because it doesn't look like they have anything for the Sableye. I'm just going to throw Foul Plays at this Trevenant. I will have to spend my last shield if I do want to take it out with my Sableye. And I think that's the play here. Because if I come with the Beware, I won't be able to farm it down in time. If I come with the Trevenant, I'll have to spend the shield anyways. So I might as well just take out this Trevenant now and hope that my Trevenant plus my Beware can beat whatever's in the back. In this case, they don't switch and catch, which is good. And in comes Shadow Machamp. I'm going to swap out right away. As soon as I see that fighting symbol, I've got to go right into that Trevenant. I'm just going to throw the Seed Bomb just in case Rock Slide were to KO or something like that, but I don't think it would. That was just the safe play there. And then Sableye or Beware could fast move down Machamp at that point. So we're going to pick up a win. And next, battle versus Yonkis, other content creator, YouTuber, and we have a Beware versus Stunfisk lead. In this case, I'm just going to throw the Superpower and swap here. Yeah, it's probably the best play versus G-Fisk. You can grab a shield, and that's essentially shielding a Rock Slide there. 10 turns for a shield is very nice. G-Fisk going to throw a move at Sableye. Goes for the bait. And he actually plays this one pretty smart. But the goal here, for me, isn't to win switch. He didn't even switch out. It's not to win switch. It's to kind of just grab the shield advantage and keep going with Sableye. I go for the CMP tie here on the Earthquake, which he actually goes for. So he takes up my Sableye, but no residual energy. He's got no energy, and it's time to come in with the Beware and just farm. So I attempt to farm all the way down. They get to an Earthquake, so I'm going to shield. There's no real reason for Yonkis to bait here. So I'm just going to keep farming then, since he threw that. And I throw a Stomp at 5. Rock Slide doesn't hurt. I just am nearing 100 energy anyways. So I'm going to take out that G-Fisk. And then we'll see what he brings in. Araquanid. So this is looking pretty good for Beware, but kind of scary for Trevenant here. The fact that Beware is going to have to carry this game so hard is a little bit scary. So yeah, the goal here, just to keep throwing Stomps. And I kind of am thinking about switching at some point. Because, yeah. Kind of scary stuff, this Araquanid. And I think Beware is good versus his backline if he's going to bring in the Araquanid. But I'm not going to shield Beware. It's likely it's a Bubble Beam. It's also likely it's a Bug Buzz. And you can respect that. He doesn't go for the bait. Gonna go in Trevenant versus Sableye. This is a matchup that PV Poke says Trevenant wins, but you need to get the bait off. So really it all comes down to this bait. I throw the Seed Bomb. He sneaks a move though. If I don't sneak a move back, it's also over. But I get my move sneak back just as the simulations intended. And we'll shield up that Foul Play, and we'll both throw our moves. And Trevenant wins CMP. So this Shadow Ball will take out Sableye. The problem is this Araquanid still has some HP too. And those Bug Bites hurt. And Beware's not going to be able to live a Bubble Beam, but luckily Araquanid doesn't quite get there. Charges a little bit too slow. But Araquanid looking pretty strong, honestly, from what I've seen. It's very tanky. The one-turn move is just so nice to have. It just deals so much damage over time. Oh yeah, Obstagoon lead. So this is a bit of a tough one. I think in the same vein, I go for the Super Power swap. If they CMP time me, it's pretty bad. But then we're just trading shields. So I'm going to swap into the Sableye. And see what they want to do. Yeah, I make a pretty fatal mistake. I'm usually pretty good about my switch timer, but... So soak up a Night Slash, soak up another Night Slash, it's okay. I was wondering why they're building up if they're going to like... Hyper Beam or something, like Hyper Beam and Gunk Shot. They don't really do a lot. And in comes Miltank. That's not Rollout. That looks like Tackle. Miltank is a pretty bad Pokemon, but Obstagoon is a pretty bad lead for the team. And if Miltank can end up tackling down this Sableye, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Luckily, these foul plays are actually hurting for quite a bit. And yeah, they do finally get to a move. But yeah, it is a body slam. It's a pretty tough situation to be in. I actually come in with the Beware. I probably should have come in with the Trevenant, because I could have gotten an absolute farm here. And they can see what I'm doing too. I'm just going to town. I'm just trying to get as much farm as possible. They swap into the Obstagoon. I'm going to throw the superpower right away. And this is where I make my fatal mistake. I throw the superpower and I don't account for the fact that they swapped then. I took their switch timer to be when I swapped out. So unfortunately, I do have an Alolan Muck in the back. Also a little bit of a Core Breaker to triple Shadow Claw, of course. Oh god, I shield this because it could be a Dark Pulse, but it's an Acid Spray, which honestly shouldn't really matter. I should be able to land a Shadow Ball on this thing anyways, and grab the shield. So yeah, they'll have to shield the next Shadow Ball if they want to take down Trev. So it's all coming down to the plan. They're gonna get a move out of this, but luckily I have a move, so I should be able to throw the Stomp, and I did not realize their switch timer was up. That was a little mistake for me there. At least I don't hit any of the bubbles, but this Miltank is low enough that I'm not going to be able to farm it down, and they're going to come back in with this Alolan Muck and just Dark Pulse this Beware. Sad. They played very well. My opponent played very well, though. I can't be too mad about that. So I've set up my, I guess, misplay there. Altaria leads. So this is a pretty tough one, too. Altaria beats all three of these Pokemon. Sableye is maybe the worst against it, but they actually catch on Stunfisk. Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, I would throw the foul play anyways. So I'm just throwing these foul plays. I'm probably not planning on shielding. I need to keep my shields for this Altaria too. Sky Attack is super effective against both Beware and Trevenant, and it has an energy advantage. So yeah, Rock Slide does quite a bit. They're going to get another Rock Slide off here. And that's okay too. This is going to give a little bit of a farm for Beware. I guess I could have shielded and ended with a foul play to throw out the Altaria as well, but getting pretty much a Stomp for free is nice. I can start throwing these moves at Altaria before I can start throwing moves at Beware, and really the name of the game here is just to try and outpace this thing. And the fact that it lets through the first Stomp is pretty good. I'm going to have to shield up this Sky Attack and just hope that whatever's in the back Trevenant can beat. There'd have to be something like a Swampert. Especially if it has to be at a shield disadvantage, but we'll see if Beware can't grab these shields back. Beware does outpace Altaria, so every time you trade a shield, it's a little bit of an advantage for Beware, and you can see I'm catching up to this Altaria in terms of pace. I'm one away from that Stomp right as it's throwing that Sky Attack, and just like the doctor ordered, we have the Swampert swapping in here. I'm going to throw before they get to a move. If it's Earthquake Swampert, I'm not scared anyways, but it could be a Sludge Wave Swampert, so I want to just take out that Swampert right away, and then it's just about Shadow Clawing and throwing moves at this Altaria. I need to put enough fast move pressure out that it can't get to 2 moves, because if it gets to another move, it can take out my Beware as well. But I think my Beware has a move loaded, so I can just throw that anyway. So this Altaria had no win condition. It might have been at 2 moves. I'm pretty bad at counting Dragon Breaths, I'm not gonna lie. So either way, pick up another win as this interlude season starts to come to a close. Kind of sad, because the game is not fixed yet. All right, Pidgeot lead. I don't know where these Pidgeot leads are coming from. I barely see Pidgeot in Great League, and it's kind of, it and Noctowl have kind of been everywhere. I don't know if it's for Araquanid or Trevenant or what, but the same thing as last time. We're just going to try and pull the same thing off. Going to no shield the Feather Dance. If they Brave Bird, you lose. No shield the Feather Dance, that's your only win condition, so you got to make that play. In comes the Stunfisk. Not exactly what you want to see as a Sableye, but you want to deal as much damage as possible to the Stunfisk. And honestly, I probably should have been trying to trade shields at some point here too, because I do need shields down to deal with this Pidgeot at this point. These Shadow Claws, they don't do anything. So it's all about getting those Seed Bombs off, getting those Stomps off, getting those Superpowers off. Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try and farm me down too, which is bad news. So because they're looking at the farm down, and they're expecting the Beware to come back in, they know they can't throw a Rock Slide at it. I'm going to come with the Trevenant, soak up that EQ, hopefully. And honestly, it still kind of hurts. But in comes the Pidgeot. I swap right away to Beware. And yeah. This one is all she wrote. But yeah, that's the team. I guess you guys can guess I probably lose this game. And it's not close. But that's another positive set with the team. Like I said, if you're in a ELO bracket where you're seeing a lot of Charmers, or a lot of Pidgeot, or a lot of Noctowl or something like that, you maybe don't want to run the team. But if you aren't, it's a lot of fun. And it gives you a lot of play. It's very dynamic. Love the 2-turn fast moves. Love the high energy gain, the high damage, the ability to farm down. All of that stuff is just fantastic. But yeah, that's it. And huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. I couldn't be doing this without you guys. And yeah, I guess this is maybe the time to tell YouTube. I've told my Patreon supporters already, or Discord and on Twitter. But I gave Niantic a bit of an ultimatum. If they don't fix their game by the next season, then unfortunately I'm going to be done with content creating and probably Pokemon Go PvP in general. It just is frustrating to see a game that you love head down this path. But anyways, if I do end up quitting, I'll make a video about it too. So I feel like I owe it to you guys. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot can happen in a week. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very optimistic. I'm not very optimistic that everything will be, or not even everything, just fast-moving consistencies will be fixed by then. So anyway, starting out on such a sour note, but thanks for watching.